History for the West Indies, England's Ashes disaster class, and the innings of a lifetime in the Big Bash final. Welcome back to episode 3 of In Case You Missed It, where we try to cover all the news stories, big or small, from the last week of cricket. We'll start in India, where Brendan McCullum's job as England's white ball head coach is off to a tough start. England were absolutely thumped in the first T20I, skittled for just 132 despite Joss Buttler's fluent 68. Spin was the issue once again, with Varun Chakravarti and Axar Patel both bowling superb spells before Abhishek Sharma slammed a 34 ball 79 to seal a rapid chase. The second T20I was much closer, but it was India who came out on top again, this time thanks to the skill and nerve of Tilak Varma. Butler was England's best batter on show again, supported by quick cameos from Jamie Smith and Bryden Carse, as England made a middling 165 for 9. Carse impressed with the ball too, and it looked like India were in trouble at 116 for 6 and 126 for 7, but Varma managed the tail with remarkable calmness to guide his side to a nail-biting 2-wicket victory. Arshdeep Singh's 3 wickets in the first 2 games have seen him become India's leading T20I wicket taker, despite only making his debut in July 2022. Which is kind of mad. And Harry Brook made a rather interesting comment, suggesting that the smog in Kolkata made it even harder for England's struggling batting unit to face India's spinners. As you can imagine, that comment has not exactly gone unnoticed, and I'm sure it won't be forgotten in a hurry. While England's men have at least had a few positives to take, like the return of Jofra Archer and Mark Wood, England's women are having a torrid time in Australia. Their Ashes campaign is completely unravelling. A 3-0 defeat in the ODIs, a 3-0 defeat in the T20Is, 12-0 down heading into this week's test at the MCG. They at least showed some spirit in the second T20I, pushing Australia all the way before rain brought proceedings to an abrupt end with 5 balls to spare, but the third T20I was pretty dire. Beth Mooney has been particularly brilliant for Australia, who, as a unit, just look miles ahead of England. And as with all good Ashes tours, there's been plenty going on in the media as well. After Sophie Ecclestone refused to do an interview with her for the BBC, Alex Hartley says that she's been given the cold shoulder by the England team following her comments around England's fitness after their T20 World Cup exit in October. And head coach John Lewis made some comments that have gone down about as well as Harry Brook's smog chat, suggesting that Australian culture is the reason for their dominance and ability to produce natural athletes. Before we continue, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all our latest videos and podcast episodes. And if you want even more from Wisden, head over to our Patreon channel for extra bonus content starting from just £5 a month. The ICC have been announcing their 2024 award winners over the last couple of days. Unsurprisingly, it's Jasprit Bumrah who scooped the Men's Test Cricketer Award, while Kamindi Mendis won the Emerging Men's Cricketer of the Year. I'll put the other award winners on screen, but at the time of recording, the Men's and Women's Cricketers of the Year are yet to be announced. The ICC also announced their Test 11 of the Year, captained by Pat Cummins. Over in Multan, West Indies won a test after being 38 for 7, and Pakistan have officially finished bottom of the World Test Championship table. Pakistan rolled out another raging turner, but this time the West Indies survived their trial bar spin to record a historic victory, their first win in Pakistan for 34 years. The test was over before lunch on day 3, 20 wickets fell on day 1, and not even 12 overs into the first day, left-arm spinner Noman Ali had become the first Pakistan spinner to take a test hat-trick. Last week, you might remember how we explained that numbers 9, 10 and 11 were the 3 top scorers in the West Indies batting innings. That's the first time it had ever happened for any team in tests. Well, they went back-to-back, with the West Indies lower order rescuing the Tories from 38 for 7 to 163 all out. Somehow, despite that position of strength, Pakistan ended day 1 9 runs behind, crumbling from 119 for 4 to 154 all out. There was a crucial half-century from Craig Brathwaite, his first in 13 innings, as West Indies made 244 on day 2 to set up a tricky chase. And then it was Jamel Warrican's turn to be chief destroyer once again, scoring 54 runs and taking 9 wickets in the match, including a 4th innings fifer and a funny moment with Sajid Khan. Before the match, head coach Aqib Javid said spin-friendly pitches were here to stay in Pakistan. Spinners have now taken 130 wickets in Pakistan's last 4 home tests, compared to just 17 by seamers. What have you made of Pakistan's change of approach at home? Staying in spinning conditions, Sri Lanka's test series against Australia gets underway on Wednesday this week. Pathan Nasanka is likely to miss out through injury, and Sri Lanka have called up an uncapped duo in Sonal Danusha and Lahiru Udara. Now, I actually played with Udara in 2018 when he was my club's overseas pro, so I don't know how likely it is, but it would be kind of cool if he did make his debut. A number of India's test stars have been in Ranji Trophy action this week, with varying degrees of success. Rohit Sharma failed in his first Ranji game for 9 years, making scores of 3 and 28 as a star-studded Mumbai side lost to Jammu and Kashmir, and Yashasvi Jaiswal made similar scores in the same game. Shubman Gill made a century in a losing cause, while Ravindra Jadeja took 12 wickets, including that of Rishabh Pant twice, in a 10-wicket win against Delhi. Virat Kohli, who hasn't played a Ranji game since November 2012, looks set to return for Delhi this week against Railways. And our last bit of red ball coverage comes in the form of the England Lions, who held on for a draw in their second tour match against a Cricket Australia 11. Pat Brown took a hat-trick and a 5-wicket haul. Sam Cook was brilliant once again with the ball. Should he be part of England's test plans? Let me know. And there was another 100 for Tasmania's Tim Ward. But Rocky Flintoff was the main story. The 16-year-old, son of England legend Andrew, made his first professional century from number 9, arriving at the crease with his side 161 for 7 and propelling them to 316 all out. Definitely one to keep an eye on, and Flintoff has surely boosted his case to be involved in the unofficial test that begins on Thursday this week. The Big Bash is over, and the final was an absolute epic. Last season's Wooden Spoon winners Sydney Thunder faced off against the Hobart Hurricanes, playing their first final in 7 years. The evening belonged to the Hurricanes and one player in particular. 23-year-old Mitchell Owen played the innings of a lifetime. Chasing 183 to win their first ever title, Owen slammed a 39-ball 100, the joint fastest century in Big Bash history, in front of a packed home crowd in Hobart. Owen's 108 from 42 balls included 6 fours and 11 sixes, powering his side to a 7-wicket win with 35 balls remaining. He also finished as the competition's leading run scorer, averaging 45.2 at a strike rate of more than 200. A mad night to end a mad season. It's been another excellent week for Pal Royals over in the SA20. They've already qualified for the playoffs and have been particularly dominant at home, underlined by their spin attack. On Saturday, they created franchise history by becoming the first side ever to bowl 20 overs of spin in their victory against Pretoria Capitals. Joe Root was player of the match in that very same game, making an unbeaten 78 not out on a tricky Pal surface and taking 2 for 32. Could he perhaps be the answer to England's T20 I spin struggles? Elsewhere in the competition, MI Cape Town are second and Sunrisers Eastern Cape have recovered after their slow start, despite Zach Crawley's struggles. The England opener has 88 runs in 8 innings at a strike rate of 110 and has been dismissed for 6 runs or fewer in 5 of his last 6 innings. This time next week, the group stages will be done and dusted and we'll know which teams have qualified for the playoffs. Next on our tour of the T20 leagues, there's been some controversy in the Bangladesh Premier League. The story around pay disputes mentioned last week has developed rapidly, with Durbar Rajshahi's overseas players refusing to play their fixture against Rangpur Riders on Sunday. BPL rules state that teams must have at least 2 overseas players in their 11, but the tournament's technical committee granted approval for an all-local 11 on this occasion. According to ESPN Cricinfo, Durbar's overseas players have only been paid 25% of their total payment so far, and local players hadn't been paid anything until they protested by skipping a training session a couple of weeks ago. The Bangladesh Cricket Board is now preparing to take legal action against the franchise over those missed payments as the BCB seeks to repair the competition's reputation. Amazingly, Durbar's all-local 11 won the match in question by 2 runs. The ILT20 continues to roll on at the same time in the UAE. Highlights include a 4-wicket haul for Mohamed Amir, a rapid 71 for Fakhar Zaman, runs for Sam Curran and Alex Hales, Jason Roy batting number 7 as an impact sub, and some Gulbadi Naib fireworks on Sunday. The most viral moment, though, was a bizarre run-out involving Tom Curran, which, for some reason, he was given a reprieve for by opposition captain Nicholas Pooran, despite just walking out of his crease for no good reason. Where have we seen that before? There are still a few Super 6 games remaining in the Women's Under-19 World Cup, but the semi-finalists are already confirmed. England's victory against New Zealand saw them join India, Australia and South Africa in the last 4, with the semi-finals set to take place on Friday before Sunday's showpiece event. And Bangladesh's women have missed out on direct qualification for the 2025 Women's ODI World Cup. Their defeat in the 3rd ODI against the West Indies saw them finish level on points with New Zealand in the Women's Championship table, but it was New Zealand who secured direct qualification by virtue of more wins. For Bangladesh and the West Indies, they'll have to make their way through the qualifier if they're going to be in India later this year. And lastly, some quickfire news to run through. Rishabh Pant has been appointed as Lucknow Super Giants captain. Major League Cricket is set to expand to 8 teams by 2027. Sophie Devine is taking a break from cricket that will see her miss the WPL. Hassan Ali returns to Warwickshire in 2025. Lancashire have signed Marcus Harris, and the race to buy a team in the 100 is heating up. And that, I think, is just about everything for this week. As always, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment with any content requests for 2025. Catch you next week.